Hi everybody, it's Christina from Card Making Magic. Today we're going to be using the complete card and box die set, which is a 5x7 box and card, but we're also going to add in one of the little inserts into the front of the card and the box. Now there are three to choose from. This one is the petal, this one is the cube, and this one is the quatrefoil, and it's this one with the box die that I'm going to use today. So to make my card and my matching box, I need to make sure that I've got enough card in the colours that I want to use. So the box base is this very large die here, and I need to cut that twice. Now because of the size of this die, it's not going to go through the smaller die cutting machines. You will need one with an A4 platform on it. So now that I've cut two pieces, I'm going to remove the top flaps from one piece and the two little tabs at the bottom. So once you've done that, you can take your bone folder and you're going to score all the lines on this piece. Now on this piece we're going to add the insert, and these inserts come in two separate parts. So you have the outer part that will cut a mat for you, that you can layer underneath this. If you cut them both together, that will cut that pattern out of your card. But if you use this one on its own and pop it into the centre of what will be the front of your card, you're going to die cut that. Once that's been die cut, you will have that pattern in your card. And when you push out all the little pieces, you will have a beautiful decorative front for your box. Once that panel is cut into your card, I'm going to flip it over so that I have the wrong side facing upwards. And this is acetate, so I'm going to cut myself a lovely acetate panel that will sit over that grid, that trellis. And I'm going to use some double-sided tape to hold that acetate in place. So I'm using a really strong red line tape. Now once you've got this in place, if you haven't quite caught all the tape with the acetate, then just give it a rub over with some anti-static, and that will just take the stickiness out of that tape. And then once you've done that, you're going to fold in all the edges to this box as you did the other piece. So now we have the acetate in the front of the box, and we're going to join the two pieces together. So I've got the correct side facing downwards, and on this outside flap I'm going to add in some glue. Now I like to use a wet glue because it gives more strength to the seam. So once I've done that, added the glue, I'm going to make sure that that piece is pressed nice and neatly in place, and I'm going to just line up the edges along the top and then press that down really well. Now it's easier if you bring this flap down and add the glue and fold this piece across the top. Make sure that they line up and then press it in place. So there we've got the box with the beautiful front, and all we need to do now is just press two of the small flaps in, one of the large ones, and add glue along this piece, and make sure that the box is nice and level, and press that piece down. So now we have a box that will fold up and it's ready to be decorated. So let's make a card that matches our box. If you look at the dies, you've got the large die for the box. The next die down will cut the card for you. Now if you look at this carefully, there are only 3 cutting edges on this card. So the first thing you need to do is fold a piece of A4 card in half. Now with the folded end down one side and the open end at the other, take your card die and take the non-cutting edge and place it just off the fold. Now once you've run that through your die cutting machine, that will give you a card that is still joined but has 3 open ends. You can either use that in landscape or you can use it in portrait. But I like to make my cards with the fold at the top. So if you take the non-cutting edge and place it on the open end of your card, so that again it's just off the card, and run that through your die cutting machine. Once they've been cut, that will give me 2 separate pieces of card that I can now join together. So what I need to do is fold one of them back by about 1/2 inch, add my glue just on that folded back flap and join the 2 pieces together. So just to go over this again, it's the card making element to the die set. It has 3 cutting edges and 1 non-cutting edge. If you fold a piece of A4 card in half and place the non-cutting edge just off the fold, that will give you a card that is still joined at the top that you can use in landscape or portrait. If you keep an A4 piece of folded card and if you keep the non-cutting edge off the edge of the open end, then you will produce 2 pieces of card that you can then join together at the top to create a tent fold. So there you've got 3 different styles of card, and it's the tent fold that I like to use. Now the next die down is the one with the stitched edge, and that will produce a layer for me that will sit on the front of my card. So once you've die cut that, that's the layer that you will have. Now in between those 2 layers I want another piece of yellow card because I'm going to do my card in yellow and white. So I've cut another layer there and I've just hand cut that, and that little one is going to sit there and just leave a small border around the edge. So now we're going back to the die that we used on the front of the box, and this is the Quatrefoil pattern. So once you've die cut that, you will have a pattern that looks like this. And again, because I want my card in yellow and white, I have hand cut another layer that will sit just underneath there, and that's going to sit on that layer of my card. So you can see how we're building up the card as we go along. So some of the other elements that I need for my card are some flowers. So I've cut lots and lots of flowers, and I'm going to cut as many leaves as I need from that small die. This one will produce me the long stem that's there, and I'm only using white card because I'm going to colour these in with different inks. And there's another leaf stem there. This one is the long flourish, and don't be afraid to cut that up to add it to your designs. And from the happy birthday sentiment, I've cut that several times and I'm going to stack those together. So let's get busy and colour some of the elements that we need for the card and the box. So I'm using Alter New Crisp inks and I'm using finger daubers. And while I go through this process, I'm going to speed things up just a little bit. with everything coloured and prepared, let's go ahead and make the card. So for this one, this is the base card, if you remember, with the fold at the top, and I'm going to add the yellow mat on there so that it leaves just a small border around the edge. Then on top of that is the stitched white mat, and again that will leave just a very small border around the edge. Now on top of this, I'm going to add glue to the back and add it to this yellow piece there. So now I can add this to my card. So I think we'll start by adding in some of the long stems, and we'll add one there and one there, and the same on the card. Now because the card's going to show through the box, I think we'll do it in the opposite direction. So we'll do these up there and we'll add those in there. Now these are the twirly bits that I split in two. So I'm just going to add some along here, along with the orange coloured stems. And again, don't be afraid to split these in two. So we'll add these along there, and we'll divide another one so that we've got some for the lid, and we'll add those in there. Now this is just a dry run. This is how I like to do things, so that I know that I'm happy with the display once it's finished. So we'll add the 3 flowers along there, and we'll add the 3 flowers along there. And then what we'll do is tuck in some leaves around each of these displays, each of these flowers, just to add some extra interest to the card. Now once I'm happy with that, I can go ahead and glue everything in place. Beautiful card with a matching box, all made from the same die set. This is full of glitter and pearls, and it's really pretty, and of course it fits inside the box beautifully for you to send with love. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please subscribe to my channel so that you never miss a video. I'll see you again soon when we make another beautiful card with its own matching box. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.